Thank you guys so much for coming. I really appreciate your time and being here. My name is Kristine Wolfe. I am a proud owner of a business here in Sierra Vista, and we are actually proud members of the Chamber of Commerce. I'll give you a little bit about my personal background. I grew up in Indiana. My bachelor's degree I received from Valparaiso University. I then went south to the College of William & Mary, where I received my law degree. I worked mostly as a prosecutor for quite some time before I met my husband. Once I met him, he's active duty military, and that was pretty much the end of my law career. We came here to Sierra Vista, and we decided to set up shop. And I do love it here, and I'm looking forward to representing you. Thank you.
Thank you. Donald.
My name is Donald Lowery. Thank you all for coming tonight. I grew up in Sierra Vista. I came to Sierra Vista when I was 7 years old. And so I went to the old boy, not the old boy now. I went to Carmichael and I went to Sierra Vista Middle School. So I've been here quite a long time. My wife and I plan on retiring here as well. I am also a small business owner. We own a small service-based business here in Sierra Vista. And so we thank you all for coming out and look forward to interacting with you all tonight.
Thank you. All right, next to lining the table.
Thank you, Les. Good evening. Thank you for being here tonight. As Les said, I'm Rachel Gray. I am running for re-election to City Council. I have served one term and am very proud of the record that I have and the things that we have gotten accomplished. I hope to tell you about some of that tonight, as well as the things that we will continue to work on and do, especially as it affects the business world. So I look forward to talking with you all.
Thank you, and Gwen.
Thank you, Les. It's close enough. My name is Gwen Calhoun. I want to first thank the Chamber for having this event. It's very helpful for the community to hear from us and to learn what we have in mind and what we've been doing as city council members. I've served on the council for about 5.5 years now, 4 years elected and about 2 years as an appointee. And I have worked with several of the various commissions in the community and look forward to continuing to serve as a city council member. And I look forward to having your vote. Thank you.
Thank you all. All right, I'll start right out with the questions, and the first person I'll ask the question of is Donald Lowery. Question number 1, in your opinion, what are the 3 top issues facing Sierra Vista businesses in the next 5 years? Donald?
I think one of the big things that we need to do is we need to promote purchasing local. There's a lot of people that, for some reason or another, seem to think it's a better idea to go to Tucson. As a small business owner, one of the things that I see when I see that kind of bothers me is when I see a Stanley steamer truck rolling down Fry Boulevard, because I own a carpet cleaning business. There are 8 other carpet cleaning businesses in Sierra Vista. So I think it's important that we try to promote local business and try to keep people purchasing in the economy. Money here first. And then could you repeat again?
The top 3 issues facing Sierra Vista businesses in the next 5 years.
The next issue, I think, is we need to sustain growth here. And what I mean by that is Fort Huachuca is a great place, and we need to maintain our relationship with Fort Huachuca, but we also need to help the businesses here stay on their feet, because when Fort Huachuca lost the jobs here a few years ago, that impacted a lot of the local business here. So I think what we need to do is we need to attract more business here and help maintain the businesses that we have present in Sierra Vista. And then the third issue that I think, again, I just think it all rolls back into supporting local business. Try to shop small business first before going to the big box stores. If I can go to Ace Hardware or maybe the koi place out there, because I have a koi pond for my fish supplies, maybe I can support Mountain View versus going to, the big box stores or going to Tucson for my pet supplies. So just supporting small businesses is one of the biggest issues.
All right, thank you. Gwen, same question, I'll read it again. In your opinion, what are the 3 top issues facing Sierra Vista businesses in the next 5 years?
Thank you, Les. Well, I think the issue would depend on the size of the business, but primarily I think finding the employees for businesses would be my concern if I were a business owner. Being sure that I was able to hire those people who could do the best job for me would be a concern. And therefore, as a business owner, I'd be very interested in what types of trainings are happening in the community to be able to keep my business in the type of employees I need. I think another concern for a business owner would be customers. And Donald alluded to the fact that we need to have sustained growth in our community. And I think that's very important. Without customers, it's hard to have a business. I also think it's really important for businesses to be flexible. We're just in a time of extreme change in the way you do business, and what customers expect from a business. And so I think it's important for business owners, for us as a community, to pay attention to the changes that are happening today, and not only in our community but around the world, and be flexible enough to adjust to those changes and address those changes. Thank you.
All right, thank you. And Kristine, want me to repeat the question?
Nope, I believe I've got it.
All right.
Thank you. One of the biggest things I think that is affecting small business right now is actually the exodus of people from Cochise County and Sierra Vista for whatever reason that they decide to leave. When they leave, they're bringing their money with them, so they're shopping less at the businesses, which then makes us not have as much revenue. That would bring to my second point would be we really need to look at increasing our revenues. And that comes from encouraging people to shop local, letting people know what it is that we can offer them that the big box stores cannot. And it also means allowing people to move into Sierra Vista and really showing them what a great place this is for people to live and to have families. The third major thing in my mind is really going to be infrastructure. And that is infrastructure for the current buildings that are there for small businesses to go into. There is a huge problem with the rents here in Sierra Vista. They're very, very high. The buildings themselves are not in very good condition. And what this means is that you're going to have people that are really not willing to go into business, into a place that costs so much, and that you yourself are going to have to actually renovate. I think another area that goes in with infrastructure is how the area looks, especially along Fry, with all of the businesses that are closed right now and with some of the vandalism that is going on around. It really does affect businesses, and we really need to start thinking about how the area actually looks and how that can affect people shopping at a place. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Kristine. And Rachel, same question. You want me to repeat it?
No, I have
All
it.
right.
Thank you. So I think the three top issues facing businesses in Sierra Vista, I think first is, as it's been talked about already, is growth and expansion of our population, and I think there's several ways in which we do that. One is making sure that Fort Huachuca enhances and increases its missions so that we have more of a population that does several things. It brings more soldiers in, but it also brings more companies in that support Fort Huachuca, and in doing that, we start seeing exponential growth. And partnering with the Huachuca 50, the county and the city, and some of the things that we're already doing, I think that has to be continued. I also think an issue facing our businesses in Sierra Vista is the economy, and the federal economy, the state economy, and the local economy. And again, there are several ways in which to tackle that. I think that the city is doing a good job. I know that's one of my big focuses is how do we have sustainable growth in our economy, therefore helping our businesses. And then lastly, I think an issue that people don't necessarily think affect business, but does, is the quality of life we have in Sierra Vista. What are the things that we have to offer that will help us attract a viable workforce to help us grow in the businesses as we keep going? So I think those are the top three things I would say.
All right, thank you all. Question number 2, same question again to each of the 4 of you. Gwen, I'll be asking you to respond to it first. Being one of 7, how will you work with other council members and come to consensus on meaningful changes that will benefit our businesses?
How will I work with the other council members? Well, I think we've achieved a certain quality of our style of working together that is quite easy to fall into, and that we each have an opportunity to express our concerns. I will say I would like to see us do that more, where we talk in greater detail about what our concerns are and what our approach would be to solving whatever the problem is that happens to be on the table at the time. But in general, that's simply it. I try to be a good listener, to really hear what the other person is saying. I tend to be a questioner, and I find myself limiting in order not to be too much of a challenger. But I think as we move forward, challenging each other is an important way for us to come to good, solid decisions about what we think is best for the community. Working with the council members, which is your question, is one thing, but, well, maybe you're going to get to that. It's also really important for us to be able to work with the community. And I don't mean to step on any questions you might have in the future, but as important as it is for us to listen to each other, express our opinions, and express our opinions clearly, and then come to conclusions, it's equally important that we have opportunities to speak to members of the community, to just get an input on what members of the community are thinking about and how they're viewing an issue, and then from all of that information, make a decision. I know you're about to raise that red flag. Okay,
You don't want to raise red flags
no
here
red
tonight.
flags. No red flags.
Kristine, same question. Would you like me to repeat it?
No, thank you.
All right.
For me, I really think that working with other people, whether it be your council members or your community, really comes down to a few things. Number 1 is I think you should be able to state your opinion, and somebody else should be able to state their opinion as well, and we can disagree, but it doesn't need to be adversarial, and it doesn't need to be angry, and that's how we get things done, is listening to somebody else and what they think, and being able to not only hear them, but really listen to what they're saying. And in that way, we can incorporate the different points of view into the city council, and hopefully more people are really going to be able to be represented. One thing that we really need to keep in mind, and that I would keep in mind, is that certain people may be talking to different members of the community that I haven't been able to speak to. And I need to remember that each person is going to be doing their best, and that they really are just doing everything from their heart, and to keep it as civil as possible. Thank you.
Thank you. Rachel, same question. Would you like me to repeat it?
I think I have it.
All right.
Thank you. So I think I have a really good track record on collaborating and working together with our council members in the last 3.5 years, not quite 4 yet. And I've done that through collaboration, through listening to what others have to say, and as was said, knowing that we all come with different perspectives. And one doesn't mean that we're right, one doesn't mean we're wrong. It's often a mutual understanding of those ideas, bringing those together, and that's how we get things accomplished. It is our job to look out for what is best for the entire city of Sierra Vista, and we are all, I believe, doing that, and I will continue to do that.
Thank you. Donald?
Well, you know, my approach is this. It's real simple. It's not about me. This is about making and doing the right thing for the community. And I think that, as has been pointed out, everybody's going to have a different view. This is why the council has work sessions. This is why the council gets together, so they can talk about the issues and talk about things. Council should be problem solvers, and we should approach that as, look, it's not my opinion, it's not your opinion. This is the problem, this is the issue. Now let's find a solution for the issue. Okay? It's real simple. It's simple mathematics. You just get down to the point, and just because somebody has a different view than you doesn't mean that their view is wrong. You just have to learn to take those views into consideration and talk about it and iron the situation out. But keeping in mind that we have to be problem solvers, and we have to address the situation together and become a team. There's no I in team. So council should be working as a team.
All right, very good. That completes question number 2. And moving forward, first person to answer this question would be Kristine, and I'll read the question. With economic development a huge focus in the past year, what needs to happen to attract more businesses that will offer livable wages in our community?
Okay. What I really think we need to do is look at the way that millennials are approaching how they're choosing a job. They're doing it in a way that is completely different from my grandparents and my parents, and even the way that I chose where I was going to go. For me, I found a job, and then I moved into that community where that job was, because that's how you get paid. The millennials are doing it in a completely different way. They're looking at a place, and where do they want to live? And then they are moving to that place, and then they are getting a job. And that's a huge transition. That's completely different. So what we need to do to really attract jobs is to attract millennials, because the jobs will come with them. And so we need to make Sierra Vista a place that millennials want to come, that people want to come and raise their families. And we really need to stress the great things that we have here in Sierra Vista. We have a really wonderful community. This is just one of the best places that I have ever been. And with my family being in the military and my husband in the military, we've been several different places. We need to stress that. We need to stress that here, the people who live here have a really great educational background. We need to stress the fact that the technology here is really up and coming, especially in conjunction with a fort, and provide a reason for people to come here. Because that, in this day and age, that is what is creating jobs. People moving here, and then the jobs follow. Thank you.
Thank you. Rachel,
Yes, sir.
same question. Would you like me to repeat it?
I actually do on this one, just to
All
be sure.
With economic development a huge focus in the past year, what needs to happen to attract more businesses that will offer livable wages in our community?
Okay. I'll try to keep this under my time limit. I could talk about this for a very long time. I think one of the things that we need to do is investment, and that's not just from the city, that's from the community as a whole, not just monetarily, but in the way in which we talk about our city, our attitude about our city, and the way that we approach it. I'm often told I'm a little too passionate where Sierra Vista is concerned, but I wish everyone was like that. And then actively pursuing the businesses that we want to see come here. One of the things that we are focused on right now is in the cyber and the technology field. And we're doing smart things. I don't know if you all saw the article where we were listed as one of the top 10 cities to work in a tech field. That's a great opportunity for us to take advantage of. And what was highlighted in that article wasn't just that we're a great place to work. It was our quality of life. It was our cost of living here, and the things that we have, which is very important. And also intelligent, or what we call smart growth, and I just said it, but the things that we want to see here. I think a hodgepodge of just whoever wants to come on in isn't always the best approach for a city to take. We need to be very focused in what we're trying to attract and businesses that we're trying to attract, and those that will have a livable wage. Already talked about selling Sierra Vista, which I think is very important. And as long as we continue to do those things, and we will continue to do those things, that will continue to be a focus. I think we will see good growth, we will see job growth, and we will see opportunity growth.
Thank you. Donald?
I think one of the things that we could do as a city to help attract business is to offer incentives, some kind of an incentive, maybe a reduced tax structure for the first couple of years. especially for small businesses. A lot of times your mom and pop businesses are for the first couple of years in the red. And so maybe if there's something that we can do to help offset and offer an incentive to help those small businesses out. What I would like to see is something maybe a little different, some kind of maybe manufacturing. I have said I would like to see I don't care if it's box manufacturing. We have a recycling plant. We recycle a lot of stuff here. Why can't we put that stuff to good use? Maybe we can have a manufacturing company. That would bring a lot of good jobs, good paying jobs, and offer long-term stability.
All right, thank you very much. Gwen?
Thank you. There are several things I believe we can do to continue with the strides we're making already in economic development. I think you're probably aware that we have hired an economic development director who has truly moved us into the 21st century in the process of attracting businesses to a community. And between our economic development director and our public information office, we're getting the word out there about what Sierra Vista is, who Sierra Vista is, the type of community that we are. And I believe that's a major way to attract businesses with getting our name out into targeted communities of people who want what we have. We get the word out to them that we have what you want. We have sunshine. We have a good quality of life here that's improving. And people will come. And I believe when people come, industry follows or businesses follow to help those, to give those people what it is they need, to provide services to people and even jobs as manufacturing becomes attracted to our area. And have no doubt about it, those businesses are becoming attracted to our area, but they need to know where we are. And we're getting the word out that Sierra Vista is a great community. Not only getting the word out in the country, in certain areas of the country, but also in Arizona. When people get tired of the valley, they look for cool temperatures, and we let them know we have not only cool temperatures, but as Rachel mentioned, a quality of life that is what they want, so they can spend more time with their families. Beat ya.